Okay, welcome everybody. Lovely to see so many people out today for the bringing in the Thai New Year. Start to introduce into American culture what the Thais have done. Take any opportunity for a party. And so this is a Thai New Year, but then they'll have Chinese New Year and they'll have the January 1st New Year, so there's opportunities for parties through the whole year. And so as here in America, we can extend our opportunities for coming together in ways like this. So it's a time of renewal, a time as I was mentioning before, just that sort of sense of connecting and reconnecting with family, with elders, with traditions, and that opportunity to do that with each other today. Okay, so we will chant the Paritta chants now, and just invite people to sit quietly and let the good wishes of the Sangha wash over you, and just sort of bringing to mind the goodness that is being done, the goodness of the Triple Gem, the goodness of the teachings of the Buddha, and taking the opportunity to delight in that as a recitation. The recitations are the chants that are recollecting the teachings. Some of them are just like the discourse on all the greatest blessings, things that bring blessings to our life, or there is like a Ratana Sutta that we recite, and it's like it's used for dispelling pandemics and the like, and sort of difficulties. So it's the Buddha's words on loving kindness. So many of these traditional chants, and it's a opportunity to bring them to mind and to allow the heart to settle. So I invite Ajahn Ñāṇiko to call the devas. Forces of goodness.
Aritvan hametang sameta bhadanta avikita citta paritang banantu sage kame charupe girisikarata te chandalike vamane diperate chagame taruvanagahane gehavatum kente Ummachayandu deva Jalatala visameya kagandha banagam Tirtanta sandikeyang Munivara vatanang sadhavo me sunando Buddha dasanakalo yang bhadanta Dhamma savanakalo yang bhadanta Sangha Pairupa Sanakalo Ayang Bharanta.
Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. งกัจฉามิตติยัมปิธัมมังสรณังกัจฉามิตติยัมปิสังฆังสรณังกัจฉามิโอชาคุมาโมหัมมลาภคาโตสัมมาวะพุทโธสุขโตวิมุตโตมาราสปาสาวินิโมชยันโตปาเปสิเกมันจนตังเวนัยยังพุทธังวรันตังศิรสานัมมามิโลกาสนาตัญจเวนัยกัญจทันเตชะสาเทชยสิติโหตุสาปันดรายาจเวนัสเมนตุธัมโมทโจโยวิยทาสสะพุทธาเสสิโลกาสวิสุทธิมากังนิยานิโกธัมมดราสันดาริสาตาวะโหสันติกโรสุจินโนธัมมังวรันตังศิรสานัมมามิโมหะปตาลังอุปสันตตาปันคันเปจสาเทชยสิติโหตุสาปันตรายาจวินาสเมนตุสาธัมมเสนาสุกตานุโกโยโลกาสปาปุปปิเลสเจตาสันโตสยังสันตินิโยจโกจะสวากาตธัมมังวิริตังกโรติสังฆังวรันตังศิรสานัมมามิบุตตาเนบุตตังธรรมสีลติติงคันเตชะสาเทชยสิติโหตุสาบันดรายาจวินาสเมนตุสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะมะเหสิโนนะโมพุทธัมมะธัมมาสสวากาตัสเสวะเทนินะโมมหาสังฆาสาปิวิสุทธสิลเยติโนนะโมโหมาตยาราชาสรัตนาตยาสสาดุขังนะโมโหมคาติตาสัทธาสวาตุตยาสปินโมการาปปาเวนวิกาชันตุปาดวานโมการานุปาเวนสวาติโหตุสัพพดานโมการาสเทเจนวิเดมิโหมิเตจวาเสวนาจปาลานังบันดิธานัญญเสวนาปุจจาจะปุจจานิยานังเอธามังกลมุตตมังปฏิรูปเทสวาโสจะปุงเดจะกตปุญญาตาหัตสัมมาปณิดิจเอธามังกลมุตตมังปาหุสาจัญญเสปัญญวินโยจะสุสิกิโตสุภาสิตาจยาวาจาเอธามังกลมุตตมังมาตาปิตุอุปาทานังโมตตาลัสสะสังฆโหอนาคุลาชคัมมันตาเอตัมมังกลมุตตมังอานัญญธัมมจริยาจัญญาตคันลัญญสังฆโหอนวาจานิคัมมังนิเอตัมมังกลมุตตมังคารติวิรติปาปามาจปานาจสังยโมวะปมาโดจะธัมเมสุเอธามังกลมุตตมังคารโวชนิวาโตจะสันเจติจักตัญญุตากาเลนะธัมมังสวนังเอธามังกลมุตตมังคันติจะโสวัชสดาสมนานันจดาสนังคาเลนะธัมมสาคาชาเอธามังกลมุตตมังตะโพจักขัมมจริยัญญหริยสัจจานตาสนังเบมานะสา าชกิริยาชเหตามังกลมุตตมังโพธาสโลกธัมเมหิเจตังยาสนคัมปติยโสกังวิรจังเขมังเอตังมังกลมุตตมังเอธาดิสานิกัตวานสาบัตตมปราชิตาสาบัตโสจิงยาจันติทันเดสังมังกลมุตตมันเตกรณียบัตตกุสเลนยันดังขันดังมดังอภิสัมเมจะสาโคหุจุจะสุหุจุจะสุวัจโจจะสมุโนอนัตติมานิสันโดสโคจะสุบารโรจะปาปะเกโชจะสาลาหุขโวติสันตินริโยจะนิปโกจะอาปะกาโภกุเลสุวรรณนุเกโดนาจกุดังสมาจเรคินจิเยนะวินยูภเรอุปวเดยุสุขิโนวาเคมิโนหนตุสาเบสัตตาภวันตุสุขิทาตาเยเคจิปานพุทธาติตัสสาวาทาวราวาหันวเสสาธิกาวาเยมหันทาวามาชิมาราสกะอนุกตุลาทิตาวาเยชาดิตาเยชดุเรวสันติอภิดุเรปุตตาวาสัมภเวสีวาสาเบสัตตาภวันตุสุขิตาตานะปโรปรังนิคุมเบกันดาติมันเยรักขาตจินังกินจิปยาโลสนาปฏิกสัญญาดัญญมัญญาสตุกมิจเจยมาตายนานิยังโพธังอายุสาเอกโพธมนุราเคเหวังปิสาปะโพเทสุมาณสัมภาวะเยอปริมาณังเมทัญญสาวโลกัสมิมาณสัมภาวะเยอปริมาณังโอดังอโลจติริยัญจะสัมบาดังอเวรังอสภาตังเตทัญจรังสิงโนวาสยาโนวายาวัฏาสวิกตมิโดเอทังสตินดิเทยพรหมเมทังวิหารังนิดัมมาหุเดตินจานุปธัมมสีลวาตาสเนนะสัมปาโนกาเมสุเวนัยยะเกตังนาหิจาตุราปเสยังปุณเรติติยันเกณชีวิตังเอตวาหุรังวาสาเกสุวายังรัตนังมณีตังนโนสมังอาติตตายเตนะหิดังปิบุญเดรัตนังมณีตังเอเทนะสาเชนะสุวาติโหตุขยังเวรากังนามตังมณีตังยะนาจกาสาเกมุนีสมาหิโตนะเทนะธัมเมนะสมาธิกินจิดัมปิดัมเมรัตนังมณีตังเอเทนะสาเชนะสุวาติโหตุยังบุตเสโตปริวานยิสุจิงสมาธิมานังกาลิกัญญมาอุสมาธินาเทนะสมโมนะวิจติดัมปิดัมเมรัตนังมณีตังเอเทนะสาเชนะสุวาติโหตุเยภูกลาหาทัสตังปัสสาตาชาตาริเยธานิโยกานิโหนติเตตากินยาสุกทาสสาวกาเอเจสุเจนนานิมหาปลานิดัมปิสังเกปัตนังปณิทังเอเตนะสาเชนะสุวาติโหตุเยสุปโยตามนัสสะดาเวนะเนกามิโนโกธรรมสาสนังมิเตปาติปาตาหมทังวิดายลาดามุนานิปุติงบุญจมานาอิดั Inam Visanghe Ratanam Panetam Etena Sachena Suvati Hoduginam Puranam Navam Gati Sambhavam Vilata Chitta Yati Bhavastaminde Kina Bija Haviruli Chanda Nirbanti Dira Yatayam Baripo Idam Visanghe Ratanam Panetam Etena Sachena Suvati Hotu Dukapata Jani Dukapaya Pata Jani Paya Sokapata Jani Soka Hondu Sabe Pipanino Eta Vataja Mehi Sambadam Punya Sambadam Sabe Deva Hanumodam Lusava Sampati Siddhiya Dhanandarandu Sadhaya Sila Vakandu Sabada Pavana Virata Hondu Gachandu Devata Gata Sabe Buddha Palapata Pacheka Nanjayam Balam Arahanta Nanjate Jenarakan Manda Misabaso Mahakaruniko Nato Idaya Sabapaninam Puretva Parami Sabapato Sambodhimutamang Etena Sachavajena Hotute Jayamangalam Jayanto Bodhiyamule Satyanandam Divanano Evam Davam Vijayo Hijaya Sujaya Mangale Aparajita Palange Sise Patavipokare Abhiseke Sabhamunanang Agapato Pamo Yati Sunakatang Sumangalang Supapatang Suhokitang Sukano Sumahoto Jasayetang Brahmachari Supandakinang Haya Kamang Vaja Kamang Malakinang Malakinang Mano Kamang Vanidite Vandakina Vandakina Nikatwana Labandhate Vandakine.
So 5 days of Songkran, Longpo and I have been trading off giving talks, and day 1, 3, 5 is Longpo. I'm 2 and 4. So in Thai the even numbers are less auspicious, but I don't know why that is, but that's just how it is. And but what's coming up for me is history, the history of this place, the seeing Susan and Karen and others, seeing Paul, and remember the trio, Susan, Karen, and Cassidy, when I was in Anagarika, and I remember I was in ascetic Anagarika, and I would always look forward to their pilaf bringing, and it was always very nice, and they've been just coming for such a long time. And also Longpo was saying that Paul actually came the first Sunday ever of Abhayagiri. So like, I don't know what day Abhayagiri opened, but the first Sunday after its opening, Paul, the first weekend, here for the first weekend.
Ajahn Ñāṇiko just told me he offered the refrigerator.
He offered the refrigerator.
Yeah, they didn't have a refrigerator when they came.
I think I remember that refrigerator. So so when I was the kitchen manager, I used that refrigerator, most likely. And we also had a smaller refrigerator. We had a big refrigerator and a small refrigerator. And the small refrigerator was in a little detached bedroom shed, which had a door that didn't quite close, and had the woodpeckers had been using it as their granary for who knows how many decades before that. And that was our food storage pantry as well, and our laundry room. And the squirrels, there was also squirrels living in it. And they would, I just remember being the kitchen manager trying to keep that place clean. And the carpet was rotting because the squirrels would eat the bottoms of the soy milks, the dry storage soy milks, and it would pour out all over the carpet. And there was just no real way to clean it. But then it was okay because it would drain out the spaces under the walls out. It would drain outside, so it was actually okay. And then we eventually tore that down and did many other things, and now we're here today. I think that was somewhere near where the Buddha is now, actually, because we regraded the whole area. You wouldn't even be able to tell where it was. There was also an old power line right there that was taken down also. And we used to hang laundry from it when I was in Anagarika. But in just 6 weeks, it'll be Abhayagiri turning 25, which is also hard to believe. And so just pretty amazing, the history. And then it's ongoing. So now we're trying to develop this place, Santi Vihara, so that we have all stages of life. Our Sangha is still somewhat young in the sense that we don't have every stage of life yet. We don't have constant old and dying monks like you do at Wat Pah Pong, where at Wat Pah Pong there's always a monk either old, dying, or being cremated. And that's just how it is, because it's a big community, and that's every stage of life. You have everybody from little novices to old and dying bhikkhus. And that's just, we aren't quite there yet, but Santi Vihara, I see Santi Vihara as like the beginning of that, or preparing for that, so that we are prepared as we get older and as we eventually die, pass away. We'll have a place where we can be comfortable, and where us younger monks, we can look after the older monks, and then when we grow old ourselves, hopefully we've made the type of karma that will be looked after then when we grow old. And also there's just been so much that's happened in the past 25 years. And now you have this whole newer generation, people who don't even know about the old house, people who don't even know about the original food storage shed coming, and looking after kitchen managering. Now we have Anagarika Thai kitchen managering the new kitchen, the commercial kitchen, and it's just completely different. The kitchen I was kitchen managering, it had a little yellow linoleum floor and a old 4-burner stove with an oven that wasn't big enough, and just a one little tiny sink. Take all day to do the dishes on Katina. Still doing dishes. One day I was still doing dishes at tea time, from after the meal till tea time, only doing dishes. And I just thought, I'm just going to do dishes all day and all night until they're done. And then they kept coming too as I was doing the dishes. So it was. But then when I surrendered to it, then it was okay, and trying to not make a problem out of it. And now you have a whole newer generation coming in. You have, and they're getting senior. Even Tankantiko, Tansudiko, they're getting more senior. And we have Venerable Jyotimanto, and it only goes, the elderliness only goes one direction. So everybody just keeps getting older, and I've been here in 2 months, in 2 months and 8 days. In 2 months and 8 days, it will have been 20 years since I came here to Abhayagiri, and because it was June 23rd, 2001 that I came to stay. Actually, I came for a 1-week visit. When I still had hair, and Anagarika Scott Obaso, who became Obaso, he was the guest Anagarika. Actually, he wasn't the guest monk, he was the guest Anagarika, and he was looking after. Ajahn Ñāṇiko was the guest monk, actually. Ajahn Ñāṇiko was the guest monk. He had 4 vasas at the time, but Anagarika Scott greeted me when I first came here, and I stayed for 1 week, and that was in late May. And then a month later, came back. And I remember the work monk was a monk named Tan Piasilo, and he also had 4 vasas. And there was also a monk here named Tanutaro, who was also here, and he had built the bell tower, the original bell tower, which is now ancient history, but we've still got the bell from it. So it's good to remember. It's good to remember there's all this history here, and then just the hundreds upon hundreds of all-night sits that we did in the old, what is now the dining hall. So all those all-night sits, and we used to go into the house for midnight tea, and there was carpet in the house, and we didn't need the roller trays because we could just slide the trays along the carpet, the plates and the tea trays, and we could slide those along the carpet, and we had this much smaller community, so it worked. And then Ajahn Amaro left for a 1-year sabbatical, and then Lungpor Pasano prefers wood floors to carpet, so all the carpet disappeared in that year. And then Ajahn Amaro got back, and I don't think he ever said anything about it, not publicly anyway. I've watched these kind of things over the years and learning about strategic timing and things like strategic timing and just time and place, and also don't ask, don't tell. That's these are kind of just little life strategies that you learn over time. And so yeah, it takes learning. There's a history of learning as well. So learning takes a long time, and it really makes a lot of sense to me now when the Buddha says learner and no more learner. So it refers to you're only a no more learner if you're an arhat. So if you reach arhatship, you don't have anything else to learn. But even people who are supposedly finished with their practice, they have it's a habitual thing where they've got this interest and curiosity, so that learning is already ingrained, and that we take delight in the learning and the practice. And if we're still suffering, if we ever suffer, there's still more to learn, and we have to learn from that suffering, and suffering has a brightening quality to it if we're able to look at it and go through it. We come together on these types of days, and we make offerings so we can be happier. Boon is happiness, so we can learn how to try to be happier. But also, these kind of days, these kind of ceremonies help us to learn how to deal with our own suffering in new ways. We come together and we support each other. And so as time goes on, we have these long-term relationships that build up, and we remember that history, and then that builds up, and then we learn throughout our life. We learn from those relationships. So that's and then when we make mistakes, also we learn how to pull ourselves back up again. So the New Year's, when we have a New Year, whether it's Western New Year or Thai New Year, Chinese New Year, Tibetan New Year, Lao New Year, or any other New Year, then each day is a new year. You can be every day, New Year, and you can pick yourself up, start again, and let go of the old mistakes and just say, like, okay, well, maybe I can learn from something from that instead of just be condemned to just feeling bad about it for the rest of one's life or whatever. And so we learn from all the mistakes. We pick ourselves back up. It's kind of like Tanajan Mahabua has that analogy for practice, where he said, practice isn't like you're just going up a hill, running up a hill all the time. It's not always onward and upward, but practice, the way it actually plays out, it's more like you start out and you're running really fast, and then you trip and fall on your face, and then you get up and you're crawling, and then you get up and walk a little bit, and then you're stumbling, and then you fall again, and then you're crawling, and then you're being dragged through the mud, through the gravel, and then you get up again, but at least you're still moving forward. So that's the important thing with the practice, that we're still moving forward, that we still see a way forward in the practice, and we still see a way forward in our lives in general. We still see a way forward. We don't want to have that door close on us where we're not able to move forward and progress in the way of Four Noble Truths, seeing our own suffering, seeing the way we're still tripping ourselves up. So we come together, make offerings, support each other in this way, and I say Anumodana, and don't forget that history. We all hold that history in our hearts, and we make much of it. And we also continue to create a history of Abhayagiri so that 25 years from now, who knows what kind of stories we'll be telling. Hopefully they're mostly good stories, or stories where we learned something. So anyway, I'll leave it there. We'll go from this into the hand washing. The I don't know how to translate Songnam Pra into English. We could call it like the blessed water bestowing, sanctification, or something. I don't know how you would translate that, but yes, we can move into that and do the next part of the ceremony. Thank you.
The other day, somebody said kind of the holy hand washing, and what came to mind was the holy hand grenade of Antiochus from Monty Python. Quest for the Holy Grail.
Commence with the holy hand washing.
Like that.
There's a picture of Longpor Cha Songkran that I have where he's actually in his jiwan and they're pouring water over his head.
So 40 years of Dhamma practice.
Okay, and everyone just, like moving, keep moving, so it's not too long for Long Po. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yes, it's supposed to bring to mind all this. Palipolenti Sakaran Evameva Totinang Petanang Upakapati Echitang Matitang Tumhan Kipameva Samitatu Sate Polendu Sangapa Janho Panaraso Yadhamani Chotiraso Yadha Aditya Vivajantu Amaro Govina Sadhu Mate Bhavad Vandarayo Sukhidika Yuko Bhava Abhivadana Siri Sanichang Buddha Pachayino Chataro Dhamma Vadane Ayuvano Sukhang Bhalang Ovatu Sapa Mangalang Rakantu Sapa Devata Sabha Buddha Nubhavena Sata Soti Bhavantu Te Bhavatu Sabha Mangalang Rakantu Sabha Devata Sabha Dhamma Nubhavena Sata Soti Bhavantu Te Bhavatu Sabha Mangalang Rakantu Sabha Devata Sabha Sangha Nubhavena Sada Soti Bhavantu Te. And then we'll do the traditional water blessing.
Yeah, get closer.
Jaya Mangale Aparajita Palanke Sise Abhiseke Sababudhanam Agapako Pamodati Sunakatam Sumangala Supavatang Subhutitam Sukano Sumuhuto Chasuyetam Brahmachari Supadakina Kayakam Parakina Manoka
water park when you have this.
Good luck with the rest of you.
The holy hand grenade water. I'm like, the holy actually. The holy hand grenade water.
About 3 minutes you can blow. Really good.